All right, let's talk about it. Jeannie Mai and Jeezy. When I first saw these two together, I didn't take it seriously. Why? Because it just didn't make sense. Jeannie wasn't Jeezy's type, and Jeezy wasn't necessarily Jeannie's type either. I mean, it was years and years ago. She said that white meat is what kept her trim.
For me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. You know, that's why I...
And that's been her thing forever because she said that way back when Tamar Braxton was on the show. When Jeezy and Jeannie went public with their relationship in 2019, those comments resurfaced then, causing a lot of criticism about their relationship. Jeezy responded in 2020, saying that they talked about her offensive comments and went around covering for her.
But before we even started dating, we had that conversation.
Really?
You know what I'm saying? First thing, when we really talked, she sat me down. She said, listen, it was something that I said and it might have got taken out of context, and I want you to listen to it in its entirety. And I did. And I think you guys do journalism.
Mm-hmm.
You guys do it every day. People can take what they want. You know what I'm saying? And I know her people. I know her family. I ain't never felt no sense of racism. She comes from the Bay.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
She eats chitlins.
Right. And
Oh, yeah.
knows some real, like she knows E40 better than me. Like,
So Jeezy, he ignored that criticism in 2019. He proposed to Jeannie in the spring of 2020.
That's what happened. As we're talking, I just want you to know, I slipped this 3-week nail, and I'm not about to I'm trying to keep it together for this ring, so I'm gonna glue my nail while I tell you this story. Yes, I'm officially engaged. It's crazy. What?
So by the end of 2020, Jeezy was knee-deep into this foolishness when he could have backed out. But hey, he kept moving forward. They got married in 2021, Jeannie gave birth to their first child together in 2022, and now in 2023, Jeezy filed for divorce and joint custody because he's tired of this lady already, and I could have told Jeezy this wasn't going to work, but anybody that said the relationship wasn't going to work was simply waved off as a hater. Listen, I'll get right to it. The real reason why Jeezy dumped Jeannie Mai is because she's a disrespectful feminist. I was the first one to popularize the word chameleon, and I've been talking about chameleons. It's one thing about them though. Even a couple of years ago, every time I would highlight a chameleon, people would get so upset because they get fooled by the chameleon. That's how you know a chameleon is doing her job. But Jeannie was definitely a chameleon. Yes, she made Jeezy think that she was a different woman from what she really was.
you know, I just think sometimes like people look for things in people, but at the same time, you got to know I'm a good judge of character, and I'm not going to do nothing that's going to jeopardize my integrity. But she's so solid. That's one of the first conversations we had.
That's
And I was
fire.
like, you different.
Like she was some cool, down-to-earth, relaxed woman that was ready to be a submissive, nurturing wife.
So the actual definition of submit is to accept or yield to a superior force or to the authority or will of another person. So I'm gonna say right here that I, Jeannie Mai, going into my marriage, I want to submit to my man.
Jeannie was none of that. But she was held up as the model feminist turned submissive girlfriend and then wife for about a good 2 years, fooling everybody who thought Jeezy finally got a good one. Jeannie was never a good one. I'll tell you why, but first, take a second to make sure that you're subscribed to the channel and click the notification bell for all updates. Jeannie Mai was born and raised in San Jose, California, to a traditional Chinese Vietnamese father and a Vietnamese mother. Jeannie was born in 1979, and her parents went on to have 2 more children after Jeannie. By the time Jeannie's second brother was born, money got even tighter for the family, so her mother had to pick up a second job to help pay bills. That took both of her parents out of the house most of the time because they both spent a lot of time working. That's why Jeannie's mother got a younger family member to come over and watch Jeannie every day after school. Jeannie was 9 years old, and the male family member believed to be a cousin or close relative was 16 years old or 17. Jeannie really looked up to him, but at some point, he started tampering with Jeannie's innocence. This went on for years, as he convinced Jeannie not to tell her parents, convincing her that they will be angry at her. When she was 13 years old, she begged her mom to get another babysitter, but wouldn't tell her why. Obviously, something really bad was going on, and her mother ignored the signs from her daughter. And by the time she turned 16, Jeannie revealed what had been going on for years with this family member. She told her mom what happened, but her mother did not believe her which caused a big blow up between the mother and daughter, resulting in Jeannie leaving the house at only 16 years old, and she didn't see or speak to her mom for 9 years. Jeannie didn't talk to her mom again until she was almost 25 years old. Where did Jeannie go when she left home, and how did she survive from 1995 at 16 years old for 2 years until she became an adult? That part is unclear. But by the time she was 18, she was working as a makeup artist at MAC Cosmetics in her hometown. She started traveling the world as a part of the glam squad for celebrities like Christina Aguilera and Alicia Keys. She also worked as a television celebrity makeup artist for MTV's TRL. While she was a traveling makeup artist, her parents went into complete breakdown. Her father divorced her mother because he got tired of her mother's nasty attitude towards him.
I don't get along with my father, so anytime I upset my father, I pick on you, I pick on father.
You were very hot-tempered.
Yeah, I got hot temper all the time. Anytime I cook in something or he say something, I just fight back, almost like my father do that to my mom, and we fight too much.
Are you saying you were different than how you are now?
100% different. Right now, I'm easy and I'm a soft girl and I'm nice girl. Before, I'm just like a tiger,
Let me just say this. Mama Mai, she's very opinionated, strong-willed, outspoken. But you imagine this times 500,000 more intensity back then. Still fabulous and fun to the public, but at home,
Yeah, me.
very quick to get angry. Fought with my dad almost every night.
Anytime when my mom upset, she call me, she tell me. She doesn't do anything, so it's bother me. Your father come home, and then I pick on your father. It's always like that. Keep circle like that.
Why didn't you stop yourself when you saw yourself being that way?
At that time, I don't feel like myself anyway.
Do you think your hot temper is the only reason why you and dad didn't work out?
Not only that, I'm more control, more demand. I'm successful and I don't need the man in my life.
Jeannie still wasn't speaking to her mother when her father left her, but the mother and daughter reconnected when Jeannie started hosting local television shows. She was tired of being behind the scenes and realized that she wanted a spot in front of the camera. And as soon as she got on the camera and her face was all over the bay, her toxic mother found a way back into her daughter's life. In 2005, Jeannie landed her first primetime hosting role on the USA Network. She moved on to MTV's Granite and hosted segments related to fashion and entertainment news on E!, Lifetime, TLC, and NBC. Jeannie also served as a correspondent and weekend host on NBC's Extra TV with Mario Lopez and was a fashion contributor for Perez Hilton. She continued hosting and being a fashion consultant in the TV industry until she landed a hosting gig for a new talk show that copied The View. That show was called The Real. It premiered in 2013. On that show, Jeannie was very opinionated. She had been married to her husband Freddy for about 6 years before getting that job. Freddy married Jeannie when she was a struggling TV host, but when she got the job with The Real, her money changed. She also gained more recognition and visibility as the show was popular with young female viewers. That's where she made her infamous dark meat comments.
But for me, dark meat on the side, white keeps me mean and lean. That's why I married white man.
Then one day, Jeannie revealed that she and Freddy had problems in their relationship. He wanted to have children, and she didn't. The couple ended up breaking up after 10 years of marriage in 2017. The divorce finalized in 2018. Freddy quickly moved on to a new woman who wanted to have his children. She popped out 2 of his kids right away, and they got married, living an outdoor type of lifestyle, taking care of their farm. And you didn't hear much from Freddy until Jeannie was salty about having to pay him alimony and told everybody on the show.
Shocking thing slapped me in the face when we divorced, and I had to end up paying him my earning.
That clip was also shared on The Real's IG page, and Lindsay, Freddy's new wife, she hopped under the comments going off. Lindsay said to Jeannie, "Your complete focus on yourself is why you're divorced. Yourself being the most important thing to you in the entire world is why you keep making up lies for more attention." Then Lindsay went on her IG stories and she wrote, "Ratings must be down again." We heard from Freddy and Lindsay once again in 2021 when Jeannie announced that she was expecting her first child with Jeezy. Freddy responded to a comment where someone wondered how he felt about Jeannie being pregnant when she was with him for 10 years and refused to get pregnant. You know, Freddy wanted babies. Freddy responded saying he, quote, upgraded from trash to treasure a long time ago. Really messy, but it made people wonder, why did Jeannie refuse to have a baby from Freddy when she admitted that he was such a great husband and she told everyone she was in love with him? And then it's like she rushed to have a baby with Jeezy when they got together. Jeannie made it seem like Jeezy made her so comfortable and she was in such a great place, but let's be honest, it was Jeezy's money and status, along with her age, that made her rush to have this baby. Jeannie got pregnant before they got married. It all happened so fast. It was like she was trying to trap Jeezy. Jeannie was 39 when the divorce was clear, and she didn't have any time to waste. She had to find the richest sucker who would wife her, and that sucker was Jeezy. She made everyone believe that after living as a non-traditional wife to Freddy, that she was automatically going to flip on the femininity switch at the big age of 40 and become a submissive wife. No, Jeannie became a desperate chameleon. As I've been saying for years now, femininity is not a light switch. You can't cut it on and off. And there was nothing cooperative and submissive about Jeannie ever. But I do believe Jeannie was lying and saying whatever she could to hurry and seal the deal. I'll tell you, being Jeezy's wife wasn't hard. She was still allowed to focus on her career and business ventures. He supported that. She didn't have to cook like that for real. Although she said she knew how to cook, she said that she didn't really know how to cook what Jeezy liked to eat. So basically, her cooking was useless if she couldn't cook what her husband liked. That's who you're supposed to be pleasing, Jeannie. So Jeezy kept his favorite chef around. That was Jamaican chef, Chef Delroy. Chef Delroy, he can cook better for Jeezy because Jeezy wasn't really feeling Jeannie's cucumber salads. Chef Delroy told Jeannie that she had to learn how to cook from the soul. And Jeannie was up there asking him how to pick watermelons.
I want to start just peeling some carrots. We got some ready.
While I'm peeling, can I ask you random questions because I'm excited to have your presence to help me in life?
Sure.
When you go to the grocery store, how can you tell if a watermelon's ripe?
That was cringy. But word is Jeezy ended the marriage over disagreements on family values and expectations. Number one, Jeannie's mama. She's been living with Jeezy and Jeannie the whole time. And sorry, but that's a problem. I don't know about men of other cultures, but an American man, a man who was born in America, his family born in America, especially a black man, they can be cool with their mother-in-law, but being in the same house is going to cause problems, especially if she's anything like Jeannie's mama. Disrespectful and out of order. Jeannie is exactly who she is because of her mama. She is just like that lady. See how Jeannie's dad had to leave her mama over her disrespect, and now Jeezy is leaving Jeannie for the same thing. And quiet as it's kept, that's the same reason why Freddy left Jeannie too. The man married her. He was her husband. I'm talking about Freddy now. She did not give him that baby that he wanted. After all of those years, Freddy saw Jeannie as disrespectful and selfish. So that's one lesson here. When you have a man, one that's still more traditional or conservative, which most men are, and no, I'm not talking about a political party, but it doesn't matter the race. They all want the same thing. That's to be respected. Respect is number one. And disrespect is not tolerated. Jeannie's dad is Asian, Freddy is white, and Jeezy is black. And they all want the same thing from their wives, to have a respectful, cooperative woman. Jeannie's mom was not cooperating and respecting Jeannie's dad. And Jeannie was disrespectful and uncooperative with Jeezy and Freddy. It's her filthy, nasty attitude, her masculine personality, and her rude mouth that made her a single mother at 44, nothing else. She even admitted that she was disrespectful.
For example, I have a really hot temper. Not a lot of people know this, but it's just something in my family. I've seen it in my grandmother. Saw it in my grandfather, to my grandmother, to my mom, to my aunts, to me, right?
Yeah, me and
very quick to get angry. Fought with my dad almost every night. Do you think your hot temper is the only reason why you and dad didn't work out?
For example, I have a really hot temper, but I didn't notice it in myself until I was with Jeezy.
Interesting. You didn't notice in your previous marriage?
No, because it has to do with the type of relationship you have and the type of respect you have for that person to mirror things back to you where you actually would stop you in your tracks and evaluate yourself, you know?
So you had it.
So I had it, but nobody ever called me out on it. Also, in my line of work, sometimes being a boss isn't so great for you because you have a lot of people who just agree to what you want. They're yes men, right? And so I didn't notice that I had a hot temper until I got with Jeezy. And here's a person who is my equal and I really respect. And when I would spew some of my old habits, and he was like, like who, that's not flying here. And also it would trigger him to come back at me with things where I was like, who the f- do you think you are?
Yeah, she was disrespectful to Freddy, and she tried it with Jeezy. She got checked a couple of times by Jeezy, but then he realized that she was not going to change that. So he had to dip before she pushed him to slap box that big old head. He knew that he could never physically correct this woman, and she wasn't listening. So of course it's not going to work. If he stayed with her, all he was going to do was ruin his whole reputation that he's built up for the last 20 years. And it wasn't worth it, so he left. Word is, Jeannie wouldn't listen. She wanted to be in control and wouldn't follow through with his expectations. So at the end of the day, ladies, you're not going to jump to different races of men thinking they will expect something different from you. Most men generally want the same thing. And guys, strong, independent feminists are in every race. You have to make sure you know what you're getting. Jeannie has always been a strong, independent woman. She's been running and rebelling since she was 16 years old. And that's another thing. A lot of you get involved with women with way too much going on, and you think you can fix them. I always say you can't mold stale bread. And Jeannie was already stale when Jeezy met her. He should have known better, but she played a chameleon really nice. At the end of the day, this still falls on Jeezy. He should have checked the history on this woman. If he really vetted her properly, he would have been able to see this.
Oh, like, you know what I'm saying? So, you know, I just think sometimes like people look for things in people, but at the same time, you got to know I'm a good judge of character, and I'm not going to do nothing that's going to jeopardize my integrity. But she's so solid. That's one of the first conversations we had.
That's fine.
Like, you different.
I'm glad Jeezy had a prenuptial agreement, but that's going to be another problem possibly. But these days, who knows how that's going to turn out? They still have this baby together. Jeannie came in with her fake femininity, and once she had the ring and the baby, she continued to be her regular self. She was not trying to get on Jeezy's program 100%. On top of that, she had her family living in the house. Not just her mother, but one of her brothers also ended up moving in too, which is just way too much. And for Americans like us, we don't really like to have all these family members living in the same house. It's supposed to be a mother, father, and their children. But when you have all these other family members, especially toxic ones like Jeannie's mother, the power struggle is real. And a man that's a leader, he's not gonna have a bunch of people around questioning his authority. It's just out of order. I think Jeannie also messed up moving her mother into the house with them and into their relationship. And for the husband, it's a weird feeling to have both your wife and her mother seeming like they're teaming up against you. Let's go ahead and get the conversation started. Special thanks to Bruce, Edmund, Brady, Charles G, and BX Panda. I appreciate all of you for your support. Don't forget that you can support this channel as well. Links to Cash App and PayPal are below. Ladies, fellas, want a balanced analysis, want the truth from a woman's perspective? Then you're going to want to subscribe to this channel, and don't forget to like and share.